You're such an asshole.
All right, so here's just audio, and hopefully this is quality. Hello, Uber asshole. I'd like to remain anonymous. After 10 years as a level 1 help desk as a warehouse, making $40,000 a year, trying to find jobs that are at least 1.5 times double the income, I have come up short. I decided I need skills, so I'm currently studying for CompTIA Network Plus certification, which is basically catch-all for networking. It is not vendor-specific. Checky check. All right. It just explains how networks work from the OSI model to routers and switches. If and when I pass, which I plan on taking a test by November of this year, I begin my CCNA certification, which is Network Plus on steroids, or so I'm told. I have studied for. Apparently, employers will fawn themselves over those two certs, but CCNA is more valuable. I will only take a Network Plus to get familiarized with the field, since my college years were focused on programming and build from that. Am I wasting my time in your review of the Network Plus and CCNA? No, you're not. I mean, they were necessary steps. It's better than going to college, too. I plan on getting both within the 6 to 8 months. I know I can know things, but with very little experience, knowledge means nothing. I've heard of success stories of people working as a line cook at a restaurant, getting their CCNA and going from $30,000 a year to $120,000. Well, that's they worked their way up. They weren't just like, oh, I got certified. Here's 120 grand. But yeah, you are going to need experience. And well, back in the day, I try and wire things. We'd set up the router. God, I remember, I don't even know if they use ACL statements. And this is a switch, this is a router. Here's your bandwidth on this cat level cable. I'm sure there's a lot more things that have happened in 15 years. But yeah, that's your first step. And yeah, again, not 120,000. I think there's enough people that have that certification, but it's better than nothing at all. And since you're already kind of in the field, that is the most logical next step for you to make money. If so, what would you recommend study-wise a day? I'm sorry, were you giving Democrat effort? Were you a Democrat? Oh, that's nice Democrat effort you got there. 4 hours a week, huh? No, the the reason is not is that going to take you forever. Is especially with the networking. And they got like these simulators you could use. What was it? Not Intel. Who's the switch maker? You download an emulator where you get all the equipment in the world and you got to figure out how to plug it in. It was really good. What the hell was the company that put it in? It's not. So, Lord knows they got a much better version of it now. It took me reading a thick old book like that a good month of deliberately sitting down and understanding, because now with you already having a programming background in IT, but this might come a little bit quicker to you. But I had to sit and think, okay, so step one is this. And then step two, how packets are sent over the internet. Okay, so they break it down into that. All right. And then once I had kind of a working model of that, which took about a month, then it was like, oh, okay, now I can program this. Why isn't it working? And I go through the process again. I'm like, oh, that's why it's that. So this is not 2 hours a This is like 2 hours a day minimum, sometimes 5 or 6 to digest and get through that concept. For example, subnetting was never that difficult to me. Kind of binary, not that. No, okay, cut it in half. All right, here's the mask. So that would take, I don't know, maybe an hour to understand. But what else was there? Some that it took me a good 6 hours to sit down and reread and reread and reread. And that's not going to be captured within 2 days. You fall asleep, you forget half of it. It's going to take you 3 or 4 times the amount of time if you take a piecemeal like that. What you got, so you sit down and burn through it. You'd definitely be able to pass it within 6 to 8 months. I'd say 3 months if you put your mind to it. And then you have the 3 months to offer, charity work or try and do your own local land systems and try and wire a house. Maybe a buddy needs help. Maybe there's maybe there's a company, an internet company that needs people to go and set up routers for other people and install internet on people's houses. So I would do that. That's what I would do. Also, I want to, where did it go? I'm tired of living on a daily basis at the warehouse. I want to be the backbone of a corporation where they depend on me to get their network to function. Oh yeah, this is the place to go. I mean, it's going to be taking about 10 years for a corporation to put you as like the main IT guy. And you better be a minority or claim to be a woman, because if it's a large corporation, you're a white guy, it ain't going to be it. Just let you know, if that's your path, that is a real risk. You could be the best guy in the world. It's like, well, you better identify as a woman then. And I'm not kidding. Down the road, you might want to switch it to identifying as a woman. Not on your driver's license. Don't dress like one. Don't be one. Also, if it's work experience, so like I said, volunteer, work at the nonprofit, see if there's an internet company that'll allow you to install. Just go over, work on your own home projects, buy a bunch of used crap computers. With Network Plus, you could also like fix up these computers. You may even end up starting to like go into like direct self-employment, because if the corporations aren't going to hire you, companies are not going to hire you, but people need it. Like, you could always say, look, I do it by a project basis. I'll get your internet up and running, which you should be able to figure out through a tutorial on YouTube and troubleshooting it. It might take me all day, but I'll be able to. The next time it only takes you 3 hours, then it takes you 30 minutes. They may not even need an employee. Like, this has the potential for like immediate, well, not immediate, but pretty short path to self-employment if you're willing to do people's computer work for them. I don't know if having a home lab is even worth putting on a resume. Yeah, I'd say it is. Because what else are you going to do? Might as well. I don't know, just, the hobby. If they ask, I was tinkering around at home with it. Also, if you need a big picture, I'll gladly oblige. But we got bigger problems now with people with nose rings, and I guess I'm gonna dress like an utterly repugnant, repulsive-looking human being with zany colors. But yeah, cut your hair. Okay. Use deodorant. I don't know if you could be a true IT professional if you use deodorant. I'm just saying, from the hiring, but I'm not in the field. I don't know. Real professional IT people may say, "Oh, no, God, a haircut, deodorant. What, are you crazy? How are we going to scare every woman away from us?" All right. We got to. Now, how hard could it be for me to land a job at the USA as a minority? What's the path? Well, if you were a minority American, it wouldn't be that hard. I have had people from Brazil who want to come here and work, and it's that you're a foreigner. And then you need, especially at your level, if you're white collar and professionally employed, you need a H-1B visa. But if you want to go pick fruit, you want to help out, you just line up over at Home Depot and get lined up, and they'll pick you up, and you can go work manual labor. But in terms of like, you're a foreigner, a Brazilian minority here or not, it's the same. Some guy from the United Kingdom, it'd be the same thing. You pursued a worthy endeavor, sir. How dare you improve yourself, become a professional? How dare you? Now, if you just want to poop in the street and collect welfare, you go to California and be, oh my God, a brown person, us white people love you so much. Come here. Come on in. And then he'd be like, well, I want to work. Whoa, don't work. No, click welfare. Look, free education. Oh my God. Hate America. Come on in. You don't mind us if we stand here in the corner and jerk off to it. Do you mind? We're Californians. So you immediately Democrats. I don't mind if do you want to you mind if they watch? How hard? Yeah, so you'd have to get a HB1 visa. You'd have to get a work visa over here. Oh, before I move on, so another thing, Rodrigo, what I would do, because it's the same thing now that we're more global. Unless your goal was to live in the United States, if you just want to make U.S. money, contract work, man. Who is to prevent? Look, you go set up a PayPal account or whatever, some means of online payment. You speak English. Okay, so there's step number one. You're already beating most of the immigrants there. RFPs, GitHub, I think, has different projects on it. Go find some projects to work on that are remote. And now you're pulling in first world income, living second world expenses. And don't limit yourself to the United States, Europe, any other place, depending on the languages you speak. So I don't know if you'd have to come here, well, I know a guy. His company's in the U.S. He's from Israel, and he employs a Mexican and South American. I forget which country. So there you go. That's what I would do. Start seeing if you can get some contract work and build up. Because by the time they approve your visa, a client portfolio that it would become moot. Wisdom Vision Productions, $5. Mr. Seller gets 100,000 subs, and now he's too good to show his face, YouTubers. I tell you, economic efficiency loss of the day. Cappy's ugly mug. Here, I'll show you real quick. There it is. And the internet immediately slowed down once I did that. All right, that's it. Yeah, it almost is. It almost really is. I'll see you guys later, Toodles.